He was not married. Knowingly he had no marriage, because my half of energy will go to my wife. So he never. And from boyhood he used to tell Ram, 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 Ram. He was so learned because he is himself Shankar, so much learned. When he first met with Ram, he came in the shape of a Brahmin, very learned. And he was so sweet speaking, very intelligent. In some word he can express so many thoughts. If anyone can tell his all things, hearts, in very simple and very little words, then he is expert. He is always engaged in the service of Ram. How? Once Bharat, Sita, Lakshman and Shatrugna, they are worried that always Hanuman serves Ram, but we have no chance to serve Ram. We should make a clique that we should divide all the service of Ram, and we will do 4. Lakshman, Bharata, Shatrugna and Sita. And they divided all kinds of services of Ram. And they left no service for Hanuman. And doing whole day. He was saying the occasion that I should go and serve, but before this, the 4 were ready to do, always doing. He was so worried, Hanuman. He told that I will die if I am not serving Ram. So give me something. That was, we have left no service, we have divided everything. We will do everything. You have done up till now so many services. Now you will serve. Then he told that, give me that. I should do like this. If any takes yawn, then in India they do like this. Ram, 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 Ram. No? We should not take this. This is the symptom of alasya, idleness. And if it laziness, so if it comes, we should do like Hare Krishna, Radhe, 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 Shiva, Shiva, Shiva. No. So he told that, please give me this service. When Ram will take high yawn, then I will do this. Acha, you should do. And he sat on the door, and he was doing always like this. And Ram was taking yawn always. Today, anyone could not serve because Ram always doing this. He had no time to take prasadam, no time of sleepiness, no time of anything, no messaging, nothing, always doing. And new big problem came. 4 are disturbed, Sita, and they have no time to serve because they were doing always. And they told that, why you are doing so? Because you have not given any service. I don't know when he will take yawn. So I am doing always this. And Ram was always doing this. Then they came to Hanuman and told that, excuse me, what do you want, we will give service to you. And then they divided also to service. So Hanuman cannot be without. He is Prime Minister of Ram. He is helper of Ram, he is servant of Ram, he is charmer, paduka, and fan, everything. His tail is like charmer. Sometimes making a fort from his. Once, when a battle was going between Ram and Ravan, skillfully Ravan called his son, that is Mahiravan. He used to live in England. And from here he called and he went there. Ravan told that, my dear son, you should kill both Ram and Lakshman. Oh, I can do easily. And he took the shape of division. And in the night he entered where Ram and Lakshman were sleeping. With cord, bed, he took both and entered in Patal and came to this here. He has a Kali, Mahakali. And he was worshipper of Mahakali. He brought it, and in the night he was preparing to give sacrifice of Ram and Lakshman head to Devi. So many demons were there, and everything preparation was done. My Raman told that, what you want? You want to take anything? Any desire? Ram Lakshman told that, no desire. Then a very big fire was burning there, and they were ready to take the head of Ram and Lakshman to kill and to give it in sacrifice. Anyhow, Hanuman knew this. All were crying there in Lanka, and Hanuman at once jumped from there and came to this England, this place. And in a very little shape, in monkey, but more like very little, like a more than ant. And he entered in a flower and he went to Devi. When priest gave this, or Mahiraman gave this mala to Devi, he became very weak and kept his feet on the head of Kali. And he pressed Kali so much that she went in Patal. And he took the swords and he cut down all with Mahiraman and gave in fire. Then Ram and Lakshman were so happy. He told that we should now go to Lanka. Now how we can go? Oh, come on my soldier. So Ram and Lakshman sat on the soldier of Hanuman, and Hanuman quickly. But there one thing happened. There was a monkey who told Hanuman that, why you have come here? Who are you? Who are you? Hanuman told. Oh, I am son of Hanuman. Oh, I have no son, I am Hanuman. I have no son. Oh, I am your son. How? Because when you jumped in sea after burning Lanka, your sweat came into sea and a fish took it. And from that fish, I am your son. So I am protecting this kingdom of Mahiram. You cannot enter. Then Hanuman forcibly defeated him and he binded in his own tail there. And he defeated and he killed Bahiraman and came. So Hanuman can do everything. He was general also, private secretary also, always serving. Once Sita Devi was in Ayodhya and he went in his decorated room, Shringar Bhavan. What? Shringar Bhavan? And after taking bath, she was taking sindoor here. For Indian just ladies, it is essential. It is called sohag. Widow don't take. But if they are married, they should take this sign. So Sita was doing so. Hanuman at once went there and told, Mother, what you are doing? What is this red thing? He told that, Oh son, dear son, this is called sohag. A chaste lady should take it so that his husband should be so long life. So for my husband long life, I am taking this. Then Sita, after decorated herself, he came to Ram in the council. And Hanuman went in that room, dressing room, and he took all the sindoor, a red collar, and gave water and took everywhere. If Sita takes here only and Ram has a long life, then I will color myself a whole that Ram should live long and long. And he also went in the council. All were laughing. Ram was also laughing. Oh, Hanuman, what we have done today? I have done it only to long live for you. If Sita takes only very lean and thin here, and your life is so prolonged, then I took that in my whole body that you should live long and longer. So Hanuman is serving in so many ways. Without Ram he cannot live. Even Krishna is calling him, he is not ready to go. But if anyone tells that he is not Krishna, he is Ram, calling in Ayodhya, at once he quickly comes more than Garud. He is so much superior than Garud. And he comes at once. He sees that Krishna has become Ram. And he told that, oh Rukmini, Satyabhama, you should become Sita. But he denied, I cannot be Sita. Then he told to Rukmini. Rukmini at once became Sita. And he took darshan of and again returned. So Hanuman always serving, whether Ram is there or not. Anywhere Kirtan is going off from, he is there. He is hearing by lakhs and lakhs ears. He is chanting lakhs and lakhs mouths and lakhs ears. So we should serve our Krishna like this. So in evening I will finish this. Go Prema. Kim Purush. He also. Like Vrindavan, Krishna lives always in Vrindavan, never lives. So he lives in Kampurush, but you cannot see. As we cannot see Krishna in Vrindavan and cannot see Mahaprabhu in Navadvip, but still he is playing and doing everything. So Hanuman is in Kimpurushvash. What is Kimpurushvash? You know? Tibbat. Tibbat, you know? Tibbat is Kimpurushvash. But we cannot see with these eyes. Go Prema.
Is there anything that we can put on our heads
If you chant more, I will leave. Jai Jai Radha Ramana Hari Bol. Jai Jai Radha Ramana Hari Bol.
All glory to some devotees. All glory to some devotees. All glory to some devotees. All glory to Shri Guru Shri Guranga.
harmonium. Where is your harmonium? You remember this Gurbashtak hole? You have to do it in this tone. Samsaradava nalanidhaloka pranayakarunya ghana ghana praptasya kalyana gunarnavasya vande guroshi charanarvind. Can you do in this tone? No? Like Damodarashtakam? Listen to you? You can do. You cannot do? Yes. Sansara nalanidhaloka pranayakarunya ghana ghana praptasya kalyana gunarnavasya vande guroshi vande guroshi charanarvindam vande guroshi charanarvindam vande guroshi charanarvindam vande guroshi charanarvindam. Mahaprabhu ki what? Vande Guroshi Charanarvindam Vande after that moment. Today is auspicious day of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Bhakti Vinod Thakur Jishya Parents Day, and also the Jishya Parents Day of Srila Gadadhar Pandit. I want that we should glorify them, and we should try to adopt his teachings and his everything characteristics of bhajan, because in this yuga he is like Bhagiratha, who brought the Ganges river in India. So Srila Bhakti Vinod tried like that. The Bhakti current was dried, but Bhakti Vinod Thakur again brought it in India and pitched over the whole world. So we will tell first. With the senior devotee. You can tell something. As for Prabhu, yes. First you should begin.
About
Because you are senior.
Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur?
Yes.
Well, Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur.
Give me mic.
It's kind of very shy to speak in public. Om Agyan Narayana
Bhaktinamina Shabhati Chakshuramiritamina Tasmai Shri Guru. I offer pranam to my Diksha Guru, Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, to my Shiksha Guru, Srila Bhakti Rakshak, Srila Deva Goswami, Shiksha Guru, Srila Bhaktivedanta Maharaja. Yes, if Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur would not have arisen, we would not be sitting here altogether. It is solely due to the sun of Bhakti rising in his heart, that the rays of this sun are extending into this part of the world which actually has always been very, very dark. India has always been blessed by the devotion of many saints, but here in the West, such luminous personalities have never appeared. Some mystics which may be compared to Indian impersonal mystics that have been here, but such a personality as Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur has always been unknown in this part of the world. The first ray of the sun of his mercy to appear, to extend into the West, was some senior sannyas disciples of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, his son and disciple, and they preached here and were successful to some extent. For instance, due to their preaching, thanks to their preaching, one Austrian professor named Walter Eitlitz, he became a devotee of, he became a disciple of, or a grand disciple of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, and he preached in the form of writing. He wrote a complete biography for Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in German language. It was published by the Swedish Academy. He also wrote an autobiography which is called Bhakta, about how he began a Bhakta. He used to be a poet, an Austrian poet. He was the first to extensively glorify the mission started by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, and also most of the devotees here may not know, he was awarded together with a famous peace activist named Julius Weizsäcker, who was a brother of the President of Germany, the Erasmus Prize, which is very prestigious. And this person wanted to share this prize with Walter Eitlitz, the great devotee, because he found his writings so very important for the Western world. Unfortunately, they were little read. They were little read. They were beautiful books, but no one was reading them. So it is extreme good fortune that a score years later, Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada came, and he preached very extensively. He came in the right time, and he found many receptive ears, and hundreds and thousands of Western hearts melted when they heard his preaching and surrendered to him, and the chanting of the holy names began to spread all over the world. After Srila Prabhupada left this world, as we so often see when such a great Acharya leaves his body, uncertainty arose, and devotees did not know so very well how to proceed further. Some of them who adhered very consciously to Srila Prabhupada's instructions knew that in India, I'm speaking from a Western perspective, but within India, there were especially two personalities that he wanted his disciples to take guidance from, if they didn't know how to proceed. one of them was Srila Narayana Maharaja, who helped them also very much inspired by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. These great personalities were completely under the divine inspirational influence of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Well, Srila Maharaj also glorified Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur in a very beautiful poem, but I can't recall it here. Srila Maharaj wrote beautiful poetry in Sanskrit, as we rarely see being done nowadays. In beautiful meters, mellifluous, enchanting. And so he also glorified Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. And Srila Maharaj also left his body, which was very difficult to swallow for us all. And within Srila Prabhupada's movement, there was also a great Acharya, and Srila Govinda Maharaj came. But he also left his body. All these great souls, they left their bodies, and now amongst us, Srila Bhaktivinoda Narayana Maharaja has come as, in our present view, the ultimate possibility of hope that has been granted to us by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Yeah, so far.
Cameron should speak some. Give the mic. Can you stand up? Or you can come and sit here. There. And from sitting there, you can.
In 1967, our Srila Prabhupada sent me to Montreal, Canada, in North America, to serve in the opening of the ISKCON temple there, which was the third of the temples that he established in the Western world. So the temple president, Janardhan Prabhu, had heard that Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur had sent his book, which he wrote in the late 1800s, his book, Lord Chaitanya's Life and Precepts, that he had sent them to McGill University, which was near to the temple. So Janardhan Prabhu and I went there to the library at McGill University, and after many hours of searching through all the shelves, we actually found the book, and then somehow got it to Srila Prabhupada, who was in New York. And then Prabhupada later put that book as his introduction to his summary of the Chaitanya Charitamrita, called Teachings of Lord Chaitanya. Then he had me do a painting from the photograph that Janardhan Prabhu had also sent him of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur sitting or standing next to a row of scriptures. And generally Prabhupada had me write something on the painting, because he always liked to spread knowledge in any way. So I would not only do the painting, but I had to write with the paintbrush at the corner something according to what the painting was. So for this painting of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he had me write that in 1896, which is the year of the birth of A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, who is the pioneer of Krishna consciousness in the West, sent this book, Lord Chaitanya's Life and Precepts, to McGill University in the West. And also, then when Prabhupada was going to India for the first time since his coming to America in July of 1967, he was leaving from New York, just before he left for the airport, and then of course we found out 30 years later that there was one person to meet him at the other side in Delhi, and that was Srila Narayana Maharaj. And there, Prabhupada had Srila Narayana Maharaj train up his first Western preachers in preaching in India, and where Narayana Maharaj also gave sannyas to Kirtananda Maharaj and helped Srila Prabhupada in so many other ways. So just before Prabhupada left for the airport, he came to the end of the temple room and looked up at the wall and at the paintings of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, large paintings about 24 by 32 inches. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur and Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. And he offered his full dandavats to the pictures. And then when he stood up again, he said, the grandfather and the great-grandfather take care of the children better than the father. So Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur and Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur will take care of you better than I, because they're present here. And there's one very nice story about Bhaktivinoda Thakur that Prabhupada told, and Srila Narayana Maharaj also tells, about how one of the main things, as Srila Gurudev just mentioned, was that there were so many Sahajisms and so many anti-bhakti philosophies, and the so-called followers of Mahaprabhu were engaged in debauchery activities in the name of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur came to give the light of bhakti and defeat all non-bhakti philosophies. So in one episode, he had heard, because he was a government minister, a government magistrate in Jagannath Puri, and he had heard that there was one false incarnation of Vishnu named Visikasena, who said that he was an incarnation of Mahavishnu, and he wanted to have rasa dance with so many ladies. So he would ask so many households to give their daughter, and in fear and ignorance they gave their daughter, and he was engaged in debauch activities. So the government requested Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur to go and do something to save the situation. So he went there to see this false yogi, and the man said, "I'm an incarnation of Vishnu." So Bhaktivinoda Thakur said, "Wonderful, then why don't you go and see Lord Jagannath, because he's also God." So the false yogi said, "Jagannath, he's made of wood. I am the real Vishnu." So at that point, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur arrested him, and after he arrested him, his whole family became sick, because this yogi had powers, mystic powers. From his non-spiritual practices, he got some supernatural powers. So his wife said to him, maybe he is some incarnation or something, and that's why we're all getting sick. Maybe if you don't release him, then we'll all die. So Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur said, then let us all die, but this rascal should be punished. So in the courtroom, he was sentenced to a year and a half in prison, and Bhaktivinoda Thakur ordered the members of Bhaktivinoda Thakur protected the community from false, bogus pretenders. And as you know, Srila Narayana Maharaj recently published his Hindi Bhagavad Gita, and that Hindi Bhagavad Gita is from the original that I believe came from Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur's Bhagavad Gita, which he published with Srila Vishwanath Chakrabarti Thakur's commentaries and some of his own translations. And now Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur is again manifested in Srila Gurudev, who's presenting the Bhagavad Gita first for the Hindi-speaking world, and now it'll be for the Western world. And he also is very famous for discovering the appearance place of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. While he was working for the government, he wanted to move to Navadvip, but they wouldn't give him a transfer there. So he resigned, and they refused to accept his resignation, and they kept him in the service and transferred him. And then he lived just about 25 miles, I think, from Navadvip. And then later he lived in Godrumdvip, and he became more and more serious about discovering Lord Chaitanya's birthplace for the benefit of the world. So he began to make inquiries because he was finding that the place where he was, Navadvip, was just 100 years old. So it couldn't have been the real Navadvip. So he did inquiry to see where the real place of Lord Chaitanya's birth was. And some people told him that, well, now it's lost under the Ganges because of the change of the flow of the Ganges. But he wasn't satisfied with that. So from his own place, his own abode in Godrumadvip, he saw, after doing inquiries and finding out about one place on the Mayapur side, and very carefully studying ancient maps and speaking to advanced devotees there, they found that there was some piece of land where only tulsis could grow and nothing else could grow. And this was now under the ownership of Muslims. And he was becoming more and more convinced that this was the right place. And then from his abode he saw an effulgent light coming from across the river. And then he had a vision that Lord Chaitanya and his Sankirtan party was actually also there in the effulgence. So he later on he brought Srila Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj, his Guru Maharaj, to the spot in a basket. He was so old and he couldn't even see. His eyelids were drooping over his eyes and he couldn't open them. But when he arrived at the place, he jumped way up in the air, even though previously he couldn't even walk. And this confirmed that it was the right place. And later on, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur himself went door to door to establish a temple there at the Yogapeeth. I think the Gaura Vishnupriya temple. And there was one newspaper called Amrita Bazar Patrika, which put out an article that now Baba Kedarnath Datta might be coming to your door, trying to collect 1 or 2 rupees from each person for this temple. So any sincere gentleman should give him something. And that way, practically single-handedly, he collected the money for the temple and established the temple. And of course, we know he wrote so many wonderful books like Haryana Kalpatru, with the Sharanagati prayers and Gitavali prayers, which gives the same siddhantas as the scriptures, but in simple Bengali language and in the first person, the I mode, so that the reader, us, we conditioned souls, can relate to our own fallen position, understand our present condition, and at the same time understand how to become free from it by praying in ways that he expresses on our behalf. So I don't want to take up more time because I'm sure other devotees would like to speak. Thank you. Thank you.
Now in Krishna Brahmachari will speak something. ওইখানে উপরে এসে বসে বলুন।
ओम अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमो भक्तिविनोदाय सच्चिदानन्दनामिने गौरशक्तिस्वरूपाय रूपानुगवराय ते वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे. First of all, I convey my humble Dandavat Pranam, Lotus feet of Guru Maharaj. After that, all Vaishnavas who assembled here to hear the glory of Sri Bhaktivinoda Thakur and Srila Gadadhar Pandit Goswami. As before, we have heard from Pujyapat Hayasar Prabhu and Pujyapat Samrani Didi. They explained so many things about Bhaktivinoda Thakur, which you have heard from my Gurudev, I try to explain. If there is any mistake, please excuse me. Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur explained in his Jaiva Dharma from top to bottom of sadhan, how one devotee can progress in sadhan life. He explained everything in Jaiva Dharma. If anyone want to progress in Krishna consciousness, he has to go through Jaiva Dharma. Then easily he can enter in realm of Krishna. At first he explained in Jaiva Dharma first chapter the eternal Sarup, the constitutional form of Jiva. Jiva is the eternal servant of Supreme God, but he forget due to Maya that he is servant of Krishna. Just like give an example, water come in contact of too cold, it become ice. The religion of water is liquidancy, but baraf, that means ice, is not liquid, it's too hard. That's the same way. The religion of Jeev is to service of God, but he forget, he thought that I am enjoyer of this material world. And the Sarup of Jeev he explained in Jaiva Dharma. The origin of Jeev comes from Baladev Prabhu, Sankarsan and Karnadak Sai Vishnu. Who came from Baladev Prabhu? They are eternal associates of Supreme Personality Godhead Krishna in Braj. They are always engaged in Krishna service. They have no time to inquire that there is an material world and Jeev is suffering there quite a lot. And second kind of Jeev, they came from Sankarsan. They are also eternal associates of innumerable Vaikuntha. That means associates of Narayan, Vaman, Nrsimha, Ramchandra, etc., etc. They also engage so much, they have no time to inquire about material world that Jeeves are suffering here. Both of them are called associates. They are eternal associates of Braj and eternal associates of Vaikuntha. And third kind of Jeev came from Karnadak Sai Vishnu. Some of them, they went according to their position. Some went Vaikuntha, some Ajodha, some Dwaraka, some Mathura, some Braj. And he who want to enjoy this material world, they entangled in Maya. And Maya binds them with three kinds of chain. One is called mode of ignorance, mode of passion, and mode of goodness. And he is thinking, I am injured, and this suffering coming here. Then Srila Bhakti Thakur is explaining how Jeev can attain Krishna service. Srila Bhakti Thakur gives his solution. If they take shelter of bona fide Gurudev and under guidance of Vaishnava and bona fide Gurudev, they can serve Krishna. And Prahlad Maharaj explained the same thing, that Guru Sushrusaya Bhakta Sarvalabharpanena cha Sangena Sadhu Bhaktanam Ishwaradhanena cha. We have to respect Vaishnava, under guidance of Vaishnava, we have to take shelter of bona fide Gurudev. And we have to offer everything, our heart and soul. Gurudev always explained that I want only your heart. That means we have to offer everything and we have to do everything for his pleasure. If we do everything for pleasure of bona fide Gurudev, then we can do everything for pleasure of Krishna, Sri Krishna Chandra. And Srila Bhakti Thakur explained at last, who is Gaudiya Sadhak. That means who came in line of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. After his perfection, his soul divided into two. By one, he will serve Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Navadvip Dham, and by another, he will serve Vajanandan Samsundar in Braj. His main teachings in Dasmul Shiksha, that means 10 fundamental instructions. All instructions Bhakti Thakur put in one slok. Amnaya praha tattam harimya paramam sarvasakting rasabdhim tad bhinnang samsta jivan prakriti kavalitan tad vimuktang bhavat veda veda prakasam sakalopi sadhanam suddha bhaktim sadham tad pratim puddhati janan gaura chandra sayansa. One Praman and 9 Prameya. Amnaya means that which we get from Guru Parampara. There is so many things in Vedas and Upanishads. None can go easily, none can enter in Vedas very easily. So we have to go through Guru Parampara. Which advice adopted by our Guru Parampara, we have respect them. It is called Amnaya. What Amnaya told? What Amnaya proved? There are 9 things he proves. What? Tattam Harimya Paramam. Krishna is supreme theory. Hari is supreme theory. Who is this Hari? Srimad Bhagavat. The Chakravarti Thakur told Srimad Bhagavatam Pramanam Amalam. So in Bhagavatam, Ete Changsa Kala Pumsa Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. Supreme Personality Godhead is saying Bhagavan is Hari. Harihi Paramatattam and Sarva Shaktim Rasabdhim. He is omnipotent and Rasabdhim ocean of Ras. Krishna is ocean of Ras. I hope that a devotee know all these things that Krishna is ocean of Ras, because you can see that one very little book, Krishna is ocean of Ras, in English our book table, compiled by the Gurudev, and it's translated to French language also. So no need to explain this point. Rasabdhin, that there is 5 prominent ras and 7 secondary ras. Santa, Dasa, Hasa, Santa, Dasa, Sokha, Vatsalya, Madhur, these 5 are prominent, and Hasa, Karun, Rudra, Bhayanak, Bir, Vibhatsa. These 7 are secondary ras. Krishna is ocean of all ras. Srimad Bhagavatam explain it in one slok, Mallanam Asaninang Narorastilang Manamurtiman, in this slok. So, Hari Param Tattam Sarva Shaktim Rasabdhim Tad Bhinnang Sangscha Prakritika Valitan. Jeev is part and particle. This Jeev is 2 types. One is liberated soul, another is conditioned soul. And they are simultaneously different and non-different from God. That Vedavada Prakasam means not only for Jeev, that means potency and Shaktiman, that Almighty, they are simultaneously different and non-different. Sakalamapi sadhanam, Hare Suddha Bhakti. What is sadhan? Sadhan means by which means we can attain service of Krishna. It is called Suddha Bhakti. That means pure devotion. Prabhupada Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur explained it in Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita commentary. Suddha Bhakti means pure devotee, means pure devotion means spontaneous devotion. So sadhanam Suddha Bhaktim. There is 2 types of devotion, regulative devotion and continuous devotion, spontaneous devotion. Krishna may be pleased by regulative devotion, but none can control Krishna by regulative devotion. So Srila Prabhupada, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur explained that pure devotion means Raganuga Bhakti. Sadhanam Suddha Bhaktim. And Sadha, what is the destination? Tat Priti Vepattu Bodhisati. Tat Priti. Tat means in this world there is 3 things, 2 things. One is called Tat Padartha and Tan Padartha. Srila Gurudev explained day before yesterday. Tat means Krishna. That means the pleasure of Krishna is our supreme goal. Tat Priti. Then Srila explained so many things about his pleasure, Krishna's pleasure. It must be please Krishna and it will be very testable for Krishna. Like us, Gurudev given an example that Mother Jasoda twisting Krishna's ears, and Krishna want to take her breast, but Mother Jasoda told, sit down here. By one hand he take Krishna and by force he put back to Krishna on the floor. Krishna began to eat. Being Supreme Personality Godhead, he could not do anything because due to love of Mother Jasoda. Krishna is weeping here. In another hand, Chanur and Mustik, Krishna wrestling with them, and Krishna is very happy and testing heroism. But it is not pure devotion. Why not? All activity of Mother Jasoda for welfare of Krishna. Krishna is weeping here, but Jasoda's inner mood is to please Krishna. How Krishna will be very good boy in future. Jasoda is ever well-wisher of Krishna, but Chanur Mustik, they wrestle with Krishna, but the inner mood, how to smash Krishna. So it is not bhakti. So Sad Priti, hearing during wrestling with Chanur and Mustik, Krishna became very happy and testing heroism. Here it is not bhakti. Another hand, the Jasoda make weep to Krishna, yet it is Uttama bhakti. The Sabdham Tat Pritim, Epadasadi Janan Gaurachandra Samsa, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu taught all this theory for whole world. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur mercifully taken all these things and make a garland in one slok. This is the best contribution of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. And another thing, the contribution of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he discovered Navadvip Dham. And another, he discovered Prabhupada Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Thakur. If Bhaktivinoda Thakur not come in that time, none can know that where is Navadvip Dham, what is the birthplace of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Taking the help of Srila Narayana Maharaja and taking old map from London National Library, and he proves that this is the birthplace of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And he discovered and present the whole world Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Thakur. Today you are seeing that a very big preaching is going on. Who is the origin of this preaching theory? Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur present Srila Prabhupada in this world. And he preached Namhatta. That people can assemble somewhere time to time and they can discuss so many things about devotee, devotion and God. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur taught all these things for devotee. So he has so many things and he composed so many things in his literature. In his Chaitanya Chaitamritam, in his commentary, Amrit Prabha Bhasya, he told so many things. Sri Chaitanya Chaitamrita Grantha is so deep. Without commentary of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur or commentary of Srila Prabhupada, none can enter in Chaitanya Chaitamritam. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur had done so many things, just like our 6 Goswamis. Srila Rupa Goswami, Srila Sanatana Goswami, Srila Raghunath Goswami, Srila Jeev Goswami, Srila Gopal Bhatta Goswami, Srila Raghunath Bhatta Goswami. He did same thing. So all Gaudiya Vaishnava give him title that Saptam Goswami, that means 7th Goswami. As before, after 6th Goswami, no one get this title, that 7th Goswami. And after that, up to date, no one is 8th Goswami. Gaudiya Vaishnava give him the title. So, another activity and teachings of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, we shall hear from another Vaishnava. And everybody is want to hear about Bhaktivinoda Thakur and Gadadhar Pandit from Srila Lotus Face of Srila Gurudev. Another thing, that Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur ko Namo Bhakti Vinodaya Satchidananda Namine Gaura Shakti Sarupaya Rupanuga Varayate. How he did so many things. Simultaneously, his eternal associates of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and same time eternal associates of divine couple. Namo Bhakti Vinodaya, who give pleasure to divine couple by devotion. So he is Bhakti Vinod. Satchidananda Namine, and he is like transcendental. Gaura Shakti Sarupaya, who is Gaura Shakti, who is potency of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? Gadadhar Pandit. He is manifestation of Gadadhar Pandit. So Gaura Shakti Sarupaya. Namo Bhakti Vinodaya Satchidananda Namine Gaura Shakti Sarupaya Rupanuga Varayate. Rupanuga Varayate means, Varaya means Sreshta. He is best among Rupanuga Vaishnava at his time. Rupanuga means the eternal associates of Krishna, they called Ragadmik. Iste sarasiki raga parama vishtata bhave tanmaya bhaved bhakti satragadmikodita. With eternal associates, they have eternally affection for Krishna, they call Ragatmik. And who hearing activity of Ragatmik Jan, who have agreed to adopt these things, that friends are playing with Krishna, they serving with Krishna, Mother Jashoda and Nanda Baba, Upananda Vinanda, they are serving Krishna, Gopis are serving Krishna. If anybody have agreed, hearing all these pastimes, and want to serve the same mood, they are following how to proceed this theory. They call Raganuga. That Ragatmika Manusrita Jasa Raganugochate. Who is following Ragatmik Jan? They call Raganuga. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur is called Rupanuga Varayate. Among our 6 Goswamis, Rupa Goswami is best. So Rupa Goswami, he act in two form. One is sadhak form, another is siddha form. Seva sadhaka rupena siddha rupena chatrahi tadbhava lipsuna karya prajaloka anusarata. Is performing all devotional activities as a Rupa Goswami and is serving divine couple as a Rupa Manjari. So who follow Rupa Goswami in externally and internally, both, they are called Rupanuga. They are following Rupa Goswami's all theory, by Sadhak Sarir and another by Siddha Sarir. So among of them, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur is best in his times. So Rupanuga Varayate. So at first Ragatmik, after that who follows Ragatmik, they are Rupanuga. Among Rupanuga, who is followers of Srila Rupa Goswami, internally and externally, they are called Rupanuga. All Rupanuga are Raganuga, but all Raganuga is not Rupanuga. So after that, Srila Gurudev asking me to stop here. Everybody is facing towards Gurudev lotus face, so I don't want to take much time. All of you, Hare Krishna. Vancha kalpataru pascha kripa sindhu bhayevata parijanam pavane bho.
Brahmachari will display something.
ज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। वञ्चाकल्पतरुश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि श्री गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 Hare. I offer my most humble obeisances to the lotus feet of Srila Guru Maharaj, and I pay my proper respects to all the Vaishnava devotees who are present here, and especially at the lotus feet of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, and pray so that I can offer Pushpanjali at his lotus feet to purify my own self, although I am fully incompetent to speak. Srila Gurudev has mercifully ordered me, so I'll try to carry out the orders of Srila Gurudev. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur is among the most prominent acharyas of our Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya. We know that when he appeared, at that time, Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya went through a very dark period after the disappearance of Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, who was also at his time the most important acharya, and who very nicely exposed the teachings of Srila Rupa Goswami, which were actually misunderstood by so many people. But again, due to the course of time, as Krishna says that this divine knowledge, though it is eternal, but it gets covered. It never finishes, but gets covered. So Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, I think about a difference of 100 years or 150 years after Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur he appeared. At that time, people in the society who belonged to good positions, educated people, they were actually hating to come near those who call themselves as Gaudiya Vaishnavas. Why? We heard from Shamrani Didi also, that how they were actually on the name of being the devotees of Mahaprabhu, they were simply engaged in sense gratification and so many abominable activities that people would hate. So actually people were really feeling very bad about the teachings of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, when he saw all those things, he felt a lot of pain in his heart, and he took the responsibility to again bring about the teachings of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in such a way to all the people, so that they should understand that actually that there is nothing beyond than the teachings of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. His teachings are so pure and they're full of love, and that's what everyone is looking for. So very nicely, one after another, he started printing and publishing the teachings of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, which were given the form of books by Sri Goswamis and other acharyas like Chaitanya Charitamrita, Bhakti Samrit Sindhu, and other literatures. And he himself also compiled very new books based on the same philosophy, but presented in such a way so that people at that time could understand. And Naveen Prabhuji very nicely explained about Jaiva Dharma. There's so many other books, teachings of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and other things. So in those books, he presented the philosophy in such a sweet and comprehensive language that when people they read these books, they started understanding that actually this philosophy is the best, and there's no other thing which could be taken as an alternative, and it's actually the fault of these people who are not able to understand, and they are spoiling the image. And not only this, his own life, he practiced those teachings. It wasn't just coming to tell people, but he followed those teachings. As we know, he is eternal associate of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So these things are present in him, but still he acted as a conditioned soul. In whole of his life, he followed the 4 ashrams very nicely, giving examples that how, being in this world, we can still carry out our material duties and we can achieve our spiritual goals. And he discovered the birthplace of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and thus we know him as the Saptam Goswami, or the seventh Goswami in our line. Many nice stories how he preached the Namhatta program in Odisha, Bengal and all those areas, and started inspiring people to come together as we are doing now, that they can come together and discuss the teachings of Mahaprabhu and thus can benefit their lives. And though it's Kali Yuga and we're all suffering with so many miseries and troubles, and always the mind is in tension, but by following these teachings of Mahaprabhu, we can keep ourselves always peaceful and happy. And thus, not only this, we can also achieve the highest goal a living entity can achieve, and that is love of Godhead. There's nothing beyond that. We also know once Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur was taken to heaven, and that was in regard to when all the demigods in the heaven, they were discussing on the verse of Bhagavad Gita, Api chetso duracharo bhajate mamana nivag sadhurim samantapya samyak vyavasito hisa. So they could not understand that how Krishna is saying that even if you see faults in my devotee, do not criticize him, because by the dint of pure devotion, my bhakti, very soon he'll become purified. So they were not able to understand that what is the essence of this verse. So when they were very much confused and they were bewildered, so they were thinking what to do, and then they were told, I think, so they were told that now if they go to this earth, then Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur is present, and he knows the real essence of this verse, and because he's the pure devotee and he's the eternal associate. So they all came. Yeah. So then he was sleeping one night, and during his sleep, they took Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur in the heaven, and he was there for about 2 days, and very nicely he reconciled the whole verse, and all the demigods were so happy to hear that, and then he came back. So he preached not just in this earth planet, but he preached all over the heaven, and that is also said in one of the prayers, Mahaprabhu Gan Sabapati Pavan Brahmanda Tarite Shakti Dhare Jane Jane. That the associate of Mahaprabhu, all the associates are so powerful that just by their one hand they can deliver the whole world. And Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur was also capable. But mercifully they always keep something for other devotees to come and do some service for Mahaprabhu. So Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur very nicely did all these things, and we can speak endlessly on this, and I'm too small and not knowing so much, so we'll request the Gurudev to speak on his wonderful life so that we can all benefit and learn. But I humbly pray at the lotus feet of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur that he can always bestow upon us his causeless mercy, that we can understand his teachings and thus dedicate our lives with all this sincerity to follow the teachings of Mahaprabhu and please Srila Guru Maharaj so that we can perfect our lives. Panchakal.
He will just say something.
Om again to murder the self. Gananjana Shalakaya Chakshum Tanjana Tasma Shri Guru Namaha. Before speaking, I'd like to offer my humble obeisances unto the lotus feet of my divine Diksha Guru, Srila Govinda Maharaj. Also, I'd like to offer my humble obeisances unto the lotus feet of my Shiksha Guru, Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayana Maharaja, and also unto the lotus feet of my Param Guru, Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj, Srila Prabhupada. So, devotees have been speaking very nicely and covering many topics regarding Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. So I would like to briefly just give a bit of a biographical sketch of the life of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Some years back I
read a book which was put out by devotee Sriman Rupa Vilas, the seventh Goswami. So what I can recall from that, then I'll speak, and if there are whatever mistakes I make, please correct me so I don't send anybody astray. So Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he appeared in a village called Uliagram as Kedarnath Dat. It's explained that his parents, both mother and father, they came from very aristocratic stock. And from a very early age, he was always very interested in understanding the nature of the Lord, universe, spiritual subject matter. And he would always inquire, whether it be to, he explains that in his autobiography that there was one chokidar, kind of a watchman, who was a Ram Bhakta. In his early days, he was a bit of a dacoit, but he was always chanting Ram. So Srila Bhakti Kedarnath would go and speak with him, hear stories of Lord Ramachandra. Even if he came in contact with Mohammedan fakir, Mohammedan holy man, he would also go, and he was very inquisitive to know. So in his youth, he was well educated. His parents sent him to a school in Krishna Nagar, where they had the children of the influential and affluential Bengali families. And he excelled in school, but due to sickness, he had to go back to his village. And after some time, he was sent to Calcutta, where he went to college. And it's explained that at that time also he excelled, but also he became open to Christian theology, because there was some type of Christian school that he was studying at in Calcutta. And this inner quest to understand the absolute truth, that took shape in the form of reading Christian theology. And about the same time, he came in contact with many intellectual people in Calcutta, both amongst the British Raj and also amongst the Bengali intelligentsia. Specifically, there's a family called the Tagore family. One of the Tagores, I think his name is Rabindranath Tagore. He was a Nobel Prize winner. And one of the relatives was a Rabindranath Tagore, who was a very close friend of Bhaktivinoda Thakur. So in Bhaktivinoda Thakur's autobiography, he explained that they were very, very close friends. But the Tagore family, they followed a particular philosophy called Brahmoism. And they tried to convince Kedarnath, but Kedarnath said that he was not so inclined towards this Brahmoism, because he, at that time, was more inclined to the teachings of Jesus Christ, because they were personal in nature, whereas Brahmanism was impersonalism. It was kind of, from what I can recollect, a kitri of taking the Upanishads and different parts of the Vedas, the impersonalistic aspects, and dabbing that with a bit of Christianity, and they came up with Brahmanism. So, it was explained that during that time, the British, in their way to dominate India, their policy was that whatever aspects of Indian culture, specifically the scriptures, religious rituals, that they would condemn and just put down as being pretty much hodgepodge. So, and also the young intellectual Indians that would come up in the system, they would train them to be English in mentality, even though physically they were Indian. So under such situation, then especially the Bengali intellectuals, they took to this Brahmanism, and it became very, very prevalent. But during this time, Kedarnath, he was not really so much attracted to this. So it's explained that he had to leave Calcutta because I think there was some sickness in the family or some kind of devastation in his village. And he had to take up taking care of his family, his mother. By this time he was a married man. So he had different jobs, and it explains how he had so many different jobs throughout his life. And at one point he came in contact with Vaishnav sadhus, and he got the Chaitanya Charitamrita. So he explains that reading Chaitanya Charitamrita, then immediately he could appreciate the sublime teachings and pastimes of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And at one point he said that in reading Chaitanya Charitamrita, the bhav very quickly arose in him. So after coming in contact with Vaishnava scriptures, he would always search out sadhus, and he became more and more absorbed in the Vaishnava teachings. So we can see that though Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he's an eternal associate of the Lord, but the Lord, he used him in a particular way that, as has been mentioned earlier, that it is through him that the worldwide preaching has come about. So he being the first Acharya in this way, he was educated in the Western system, and he had a very broad way of dealing with different religions. His approach was very non-sectarian, and this was so much appreciated by people of his time, that when there were disputes between the caste Hindus and those following Brahmanism or what have you, then they would call upon Kedarnath Das to try and resolve the situation, because everybody appreciated that he was a very learned, open, and broad-minded person. This would sometimes backfire in the sense that in presenting the Vaishnava conclusion, then sometimes both parties would get annoyed with him, because he would not side with either but present the teachings of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So, as has been explained also, after some time he resided in Jagannath Puri, and he held the post of deputy magistrate, which was the highest post that could be held by an indigenous citizen of the time. And he would take care of, he would oversee the worship of Lord Jagannath in the temple. And he explains that he experienced great bliss going daily to the temple of Lord Jagannath, taking darshan, and also he would have Bhagavad discourses, Bhagavad pravachan, in a particular part of the Jagannath temple. So one pastime that comes to mind is having these discourses. He would have the different Vaishnavas would come and they would sit down and discuss, and in another part there would be people discussing philosophy from an impersonal point of view. So I think it was in the Vallabha Gardens that the discussions would go on. And one elderly Vaishnava, Babaji, he was not so much in favor of the devotees going to sit and speak with Kedarnath Das, because he's saying that he was not wearing neck beads, and he was not externally showing the symptoms of a Vaishnava. And he kind of started a bit of a boycott of the Katha. But I can't remember exactly, but one night in a dream, this devotee, he was actually a very exalted person. He became sick, and in a dream, he was chastised for his treating Kedarnath Das like this. So when he got up in the morning, immediately he ran over to where Bhaktivinoda Thakur was staying and he begged forgiveness. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he replied that, please forgive me, what is my fault for not wearing Kantimala, that Lord Mahaprabhu has not sent my guru to me yet. So because of this, I'm not wearing, because the tradition, from what I can understand, is that the Guru will give the neck beads. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur explains that this elderly Babaji then became very affectionate to Bhaktivinoda Thakur and would give him shelter. So in Jagannath Puri, he would associate with so many devotees. Then after that, he was posted to different places, but as been explained, he also was posted near Navadvip, and I believe close to the end of his manifest pastimes, then he stayed in a place which is in Jagannath Puri, near the Haridas Thakur Samadhi, where he wound up his lila. So I cannot remember much more. Hare Krishna.
Now, Prabhu, will you take something?
Om Jnanatimarandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Namo Bhakti Vinodaya Satchit Anandamamine Gaura Shakti Swarupaya Rupanuvarayate Mancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyevacha Patitanam Bhavane Jo Vaishnava Namo. Just offer my obeisances to the lotus feet of Srila Gurudev and to all the Vaishnavas. So many things have already been explained about Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. There are, you can say, two tendencies in as far as misrepresentation of the teachings of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. The one tendency is Sahajism, to take cheaply the teachings of Mahaprabhu. And there are so many different sects of Sahajism. At the time of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, there were 13 prominent sects of Sahajism. And they also make use of the literature of the Goswamis, especially Chaitanya Charitamrita and Ujjwal Nilmani and other books. And they will quote these books and try to establish that they can, in various ways, imitate the moods of the Lord's eternal associates in an unauthorized way. And the other tendency is to completely neglect the mood of spontaneous devotion, following in the mood of the residents of Braj, and to reduce the teachings of Mahaprabhu simply to rules and regulations, the path of Vaidhi Marg. So, both of these tendencies will not allow us to actually capture the true essence of what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to give. And we find both in the personality of Bhaktivinoda Thakur, in his behavior, in his the example that he set, and especially in his voluminous writings, that he established the true conclusions of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to dispel and eradicate both of these tendencies. If we simply examine the number of books written by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, it is astonishing. He wrote over 100 books, and he wrote in 6 different languages. He wrote in Sanskrit, Bengali, Hindi, English, Urdu, and Oriya. So this is an extraordinary feat. And in some years, he wrote as many as 6 different books, some of them very large books. So it is quite extraordinary. And in those books, he presented many revolutionary concepts. He took the essence of the teachings of the 6 Goswamis and he presented them in a very extraordinary manner. Some of these things have already been described. Srila Naveen Prabhu gave a very nice description of Jaiva Dharma. So, and also of Dasamula, which is one of the most prominent concepts that we find throughout the books of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. There is one book, Bhagavad Arka Marichimala, in which the whole book is discussing this concept of Dasamula very elaborately. I won't describe it again because it's already been nicely described. I just wanted to add one thing, that this Dasamula, it is also further divided into the topics of Sambandha, Abhideya, and Prayojan. So, of the 9 prameyas, or the 9 fundamental principles which are established by the Praman or by the Shastra, the first 7 fall under the category of Sambandha Tattva, understanding one's relationship with the Lord. So, understanding different aspects of the Lord, His energies, and the living entities, and the interrelationship between all of these, all come under the category of Sambandha Gyan. So 7 of these 9 prameyas fall under that. Then the next one is Abhideya Tattva. So Abhideya Tattva refers to that process by which we can attain the goal of life. So this refers to the path of bhakti. And it refers specifically to bhakti beginning from, or in the stage of sadhana, beginning from shraddha up to the stage of asakti. And prayojan tattva, which is the 9th principle, refers to sadhya, the goal, or the goal to be obtained by bhakti. So this is including both bhav and prem. So in this book, he has described all these things, and I think it's at the very end of the book, he says that I must explain how the vision of this book came to me. He said, in one sense, I feel ashamed to admit it, because if I admit it, then some persons will think that I am proud. And yet on the other hand, if I don't admit it, then I will not be giving credit to the person from whom this revelation came. So he says that the revelation of this book came to him in a dream from Surup Damodar Goswami. And he revealed to him how to summarize the entire Srimad Bhagavatam. This Bhagavad Arka Marichimala consists of approximately 300 shlokas. So they're all from Srimad Bhagavatam. So he explained to Bhaktivinoda Thakur how to summarize the entire Bhagavatam into these 300 shlokas, and according to the divisions of Sambandha, Abhideya, and Prayojan, and then also according to the explanation of Dasamula. So, by this and so many incidents of the life of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, we get some insight into what kind of a person he was. He was not an ordinary person at all. He was an eternal associate of the Lord. Also in Navadvip Bhavataranga, in the final portion of the book, he explains his eternal Swarup as Kamala Manjari. And he gives a very elaborate description there of his form and the services that he performs there. So, by doing this, he has both indicated his what his actual position is, and he is also teaching us what is the process for us to advance. So, in all the books that he has written, he has given a very systematic presentation of the philosophy of Lord Chaitanya, beginning from basic concepts, like Naveen Prabhu was describing in the beginning of Jaiva Dharma. He was explaining what is the actual swarup of the Jeev, and how the Jeev should be first established. He's also discussed in many of his books Varnashram Dharma as a platform to enter into bhakti. And then he describes bhakti beginning from Shraddha, and described elaborately what is Vaidhi Bhakti, what is Raganuga Bhakti. And especially in Jaiva Dharma, he has explained all the teachings, or the essence of all the teachings of Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu and Ujjwal Nilmani, from approximately chapter 19 onwards, the last 20 or so chapters of the book. He has given all the essential teachings of these two books of Srila Rupa Goswami through the form of this wonderful story. And as Srila Gurudev has explained many times, we shouldn't take it as just some novel. It is such an extraordinary book. It is the only book that we can compare it with is Brihad Bhagavatamrit in its style, because it is telling a story, but again, not as an ordinary novel, but as a series of exchanges between different Vaishnavas, and teaching all the Siddhanta through the exchanges that take place through those Vaishnavas. So, in this way, he has established all the conclusions of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He has eradicated the various Sahajya groups, and also, but at the same time, established very strongly what is our actual process. Nowadays, we find that some persons, they say that we should not even mention the word Raganuga, and we should not discuss about what is Bhava Bhakti, what is Prema Bhakti, and what is the mood of the residents of Braj. We should not discuss 10th Canto Srimad Bhagavatam. So some of these ideas are being presented nowadays. But I think that persons that are presenting such ideas, that they must have never read any of the books of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Because if anyone studies any one of his books, then they have to see that all of these conclusions are in his books, beginning from the basic level up to the topmost level. So he has actually taught through the method, how he has presented his books, how we are meant to follow. First by understanding all of the Siddhanta regarding Sambandha Gyan, then how to practice bhakti, what is the eligibility for Vaidhi Bhakti, what is the eligibility for Raganuga Bhakti, how to practice these things. And in so many of his books, such as Bhajan Rahasya, and in many of his songbooks also, he has taught in a very practical and concrete way how to practice bhajan in order that we can obtain this goal which Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to give. So we are greatly indebted to Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur for giving us all these books, for planting the seed by which the mission of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu could be spread throughout the world. If it was not for his mercy, we would not be all gathered here right now, glorifying him and receiving tremendous inspiration from his very dear follower, our Gurudev, Srila Narayana Maharaja. So, I will stop here.
I was wondering how Gaudiya Vaishnavas
He's saying that in Bhaktivinoda's youth, he wrote a number of different articles and books like in the form of English poetry. So he's asking how Gaudiya Vaishnavas regard these sort of articles and books of Bhaktivinoda Thakur.
Why he wrote?
I can only guess. But Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, though he was an eternal associate of the Lord in his youth, he appeared as if he was not exhibiting his characteristic as a Vaishnava. He was, of course, very religious-minded, very philosophically minded. He studied many different scriptures, but it at least appeared externally that he had not embraced fully the path of Vaishnavism or Gaudiya Vaishnavism. So we take this as a pastime of the Lord in order to fulfill a certain purpose, as was explained by some of the other devotees. The particular social climate at the time, the British were in charge of India, and they were very strongly preaching against Vedic knowledge, against all the Vedic scriptures, and indoctrinating the youth into either Christian concepts or just materialistic concepts. So, and simultaneously, the Gaudiya Vaishnavism was not in very high regard at the time because of so many Sahajya practices. So, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, by he was highly respected for that he was an intellectual. He was a very responsible, had a very responsible post in society. So because of his external appearance, it was easy for people to respect him. So that when he fully manifested his nature as an unalloyed associate of the Lord and a staunch advocate of Gaudiya Vaishnavism, then he was so influential, so many persons could accept, because it wasn't that because of his position in society as a magistrate, as an intellectual, as a broad thinker. So, as far as I understand, the writings he did in his youth were in that mood. They were a part of his lila in order to set a certain platform from which people would be able to accept him when he fully adopted the line of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमद्भक्ति प्रज्ञान केशवैति नामिने अतिमत्सचरित्राय स्वाश्रितानां सपालिने जीवदुःखे सदाताय नाम सैन्यं प्रदाय नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमद्भक्ति सिद्धान्त सरस्वती नामिने नमो भक्ति विनोदाय सच्चिदानंदनामिने गौ शक्ति स्वरूपाय रूपां गुराय. You have heard so many things. About 2 hours you are hearing. The devotees are telling so much, in so many ways. His lives, his teaching, his writings, his mood of preaching, everything has been told. But yet, everything has not been told. Brahma cannot tell with 4 mouths how we can do all these things. Especially he was transcendental, and we are not transcendental. So how we can touch his glory? A transcendental person can touch the glory of transcendental. But we have heard some from our Gurudev, from other Vaishnavas, and from other books which are authentic. So, all I had told that he was Saptam Goswami. After Srila Goswami, up to Bhaktivinoda Thakur, anyone has not taken this Upanam of Saptam Goswami. Only the learned persons and devotees saw the glorious activities of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, and they gave this Upanam title of Saptam Goswami. If Bhaktivinoda Thakur was not there at that time, I think all the teachings and pure Gaudiya Vaishnavism has gone to ocean forever. He enlightened again all these things. It was like a darkness period for Gaudiya Vaishnavas. At that time, anyone like Sahajiya is used to give Siddha process, Siddha Pranali. They used to call it Siddha Pranali. And Siddha Deha to all. They don't know even, those persons not devotees, that don't knew any Gaudiya Vaishnava philosophy, no Sadachar, nothing. And they used to go to their Guru, like Sahajiya Babaji, and he used to give them this Siddha Deha and Siddha Pranali. They have a misconception of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu teachings. That to be with a wife of another person and to go to Vrindavan and to be with her and making children, and this is Gaudiya Bhajan, like this. That you are Gopi, this is Siddha Deha. Oh, come on. I am giving you Siddha Deha and Siddha Pranali. To whom? He is not knowing anything, ABCD of any teaching of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And he knows that I am this body. he does not know that I am the part and parcel and servant of Krishna eternally. He knows nothing. Even he don't know that after tool going to
After passing, we don't know
how to clean ever this nothing. But they were given at that time Siddha Deha and Siddha Pranali. That you are goopy. What is goopy? They used to think I love her and beloved in this world like this. So they think that collect any lady and be with him and enjoy, and this is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu philosophy, this praying. At the time of death of any person, taking some money and they used to do kirtan Hare Krishna and fall in the what? That dead body. And having some pice, some rupees for that. Understand what I am telling? What I told. If anyone was dead and he is a rich person, he told that collect some Vaishnava. And he went to this Vaishnava Jati, Vaishnava, and told that I will give you some money. And so join our this procession of dead body. And he used to do kirtan. So they used to do kirtan Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna. Like this. No one word of Krishna coming. And all people. Oh, very good, very good. They used to give some rupees to them. Also drinking wine, no harm. Taking flesh and also meat and fishes, no harm. They are called Vaishnava. So all learned person, educated person, is used to have so much shame for this. So don't used to come in this Gaudiya Vaishnavas. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur was the first person. He introduced the Chaitanya, philosophy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in learned society. And then all knew this thing. That what is Gaudiya Vaishnava philosophy? What was the philosophy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? What is really transcendental love and prema? After that. So he is Satyam Goswami, like Bhagirath, who brought Ganges in India. So he brought Bhakti Ganga in this world. And again, all began to inspire in this Gaudiya Vaishnava. If there was no Bhakti Vinod Thakur, we have not joined this mission. Never. If Swamiji was not here, but Swamiji was not gone to Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, and Siddhanta Saraswati not coming from Bhakti Vinod Thakur, then where you were? So it is all coming from Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur. He preached the doctrines were quite pure. Some says that he has not taken Diksha from Jagannath Das Maharaj. And he has not taken Babaji Besh from anyone. He took himself Babaji Besh. And Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati also did not take sannyas from anyone. So they are not bona fide Chaitanya Mahaprabhu line. They tell it lacking of intelligence and ignorance. They don't know what is Bhagavad Parampara, Guru Parampara and all these things. That is why they are. Bhaktivinoda Thakur has given a very good line as Navdeep Prabhu told and all others told. In Jaiva Dharma is last book, final book. He has written everything clearly. How a Siddhadev can be given to anyone, and who is qualified person to take this. First, in Bhajan Rahasyam, he has written so many things very deeply. Those who want to enter in Bhakti realm, they should try to follow this Bhajan Rahasyam and Jaiva Dharma. His all books are like this. First, we should try to serve first slok, Chetodan Paramarjanam Bhav Mahatavagni Nirvapanam. Then we should follow and practice second slok, Nam Namakari Bahudhani Sarvasha. Then third, what? Trinatapi Suni Chena Tarurapi Sahisuna. Be like this. And if it is practiced, then come in fourth slok, Na Dhanam Na Janam. You should be detached from worldly desires and worldly tastes. Then when you will be pure, always chanting and remembering without any disturbance, then fifth will come. Ainanda Tanujuga. This is Siddhadev. In the beginning, who am I? I am eternal servant of Krishna. In what type? Everything in is our Atma, but like everything, potency is there in seed, so all the potency of that bhakti and everything in that in our Atma. But without water, air, light, a seed is not sprouted, and leaves and branches so many, and flowers, manjaris, and after that fruit also comes. It is all in that seed of that creeper. But when it will be touched by the air, water, sunlight, and all these things, then he will be sprouted. Otherwise not. So when this fifth slok, Jiva Swarup, and after that, Nainam Galadashu Dharaya, Vadanam Gadagadarudhaya Gira, Udukarneti Tangabuhu Kata, Tamanam Grahani Bhavishyati. When anyone will realize these things in his Atma, and he will see that I am eternal servant of Krishna. No worldly attachment at that time. That time, mercifully, the Swarup Shakti will manifest Hladini and Sambit in the heart of that devotee. Then he will begin to be, he will rolling down on the earth and taking the name of Krishna. Like Agatamani Jashodananda. Hey Nanda Suno, whoever you are. Sometimes he will see in a glance, and at once he will run towards Krishna, and Krishna will go out of sight, and he will rolling down, feeling separation. If anyone not feeling separation for Krishna, Siddhadev will not come. So at that time, Siddhadev will come, not before this. If anyone doing this thing artificially, they will go to hell. Like Babaji, left and left Babaji in Vrindavan, Radha Kunda, they are only giving birth of children and doing nonsense things. We know one of the brother of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Thakur, the son of Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur, Kedarnath Bhakti Vinod, not of Bhakti Vinod Thakur. He used to know that that physical body was Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur, and we are son of Bhakti Vinod Thakur. But Srila Prabhupada, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Thakur never told like this. He told like the associates of Krishna, Radha and Chaitanya. Not as a father, that he was blood and flesh and all these things. But all his sons were like this, that we are the children of Bhakti Vinod Thakur. So really, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur followed the path of Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur. And what he told, he totally admitted and he followed that. So, only Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur is disciple or anything of Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur. So, our goal is Siddha Dev. But what is Siddha Pranali? Who started it? From where it came? In what year it came? From whom came? From whom came this? Srila Sanatana Goswami and Rupa Goswami. They are Sanatana Goswami, Rupa Goswami, no Babaji. Anyone does not tell them that Rupa Babaji and Sanatana Babaji, Srila Raghunath Babaji. And who gave this Siddha Pranali to him? What is Siddha Pranali? Siddha Pranali is Shikshastak. From beginning, those who first they should know that I am eternal servant of Krishna, of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And following Trinadapi Sunej and becoming detached from worldly attractions and chanting, remembering, always 24 hours. In the guidance of any very qualified Vaishnava, Tannama Rupa Charitadi, Sukritanam Kravena Rasanam Anisini Yojja, Tithan Praje Tadanuragi, Jananugami, Kalam Nae Dakhilami. This is Siddha Pranali. Raghunath Das Goswami has told this Siddha Pranali. In Manasiksha, all are this Pranali. And without accepting all these things, oh, you are Gopi, you are Lalita Gopi, you are Vishakha Gopi. From where it came? Who first gave this? There is no history. It is not our culture. It is not the teaching of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Really Siddha comes from this. This is Siddha Pranali. Coming from Shraddha to Nishtha, Shraddha, then Guru Karan, Guru Bhajan, Guru Seva, and after that Bhajan Pranali, Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Pada Sevanam, Archanam, Bandanam, Dashyakhyatma Nivedanam, or Sadhu Sanganam, Kirtan, Bhagavad Shravan, Mathura Vasi Putti, Sadhaya Sevan. These are processes. We'll have to come in these processes. Then Krishna will mercifully, Srimati Radhika will mercifully give this Siddha Dev. As in Srimad Bhagavata it is stated, Narad took mantra from Sanatsanandan Sanatana, and he left his mother dying. He was dying, and yet he left her mother and went to dense forest. He took his bath and he sat down very silently and he began to chant that mantra. We don't know how many years he practiced. And after that, Krishna came at once in his heart and at once vanished away. He was weeping so much weeping. Then a Akashmani.
Voice from the sky.
And
Voice from the sky.
sky came and he heard that, Narad, I will not give you darshan again in this material body. You should go on chanting, remembering in this whole world. Always chanting and remembering and glorifying my pastimes. At the nick of time, death will come and you will put your legs, feet on the head of death and you will be liberated. Now began to do this, always chanting, remembering, doing on his Veena Yantra. Radhika Ramana? No. Narada Bajaye Veena. Radhika Ramana Name. Like this. Jasomati Nandana Prajapara Nagar Gokularan Janakana Gopi Paranadhana Madana Manohara Kaliya Damana. Like this also. Like the pastimes of Krishna in his own poetries, his own song. After so many years, death came. At once Siddhadev came. And that Siddhadev, he did not use Viman or anything. No aeroplane, nothing like Dhruva. He was so much strong to go anywhere in this world by this body. That was transcendental body. This is Siddhadev. And this is not the process that anyone coming to Gurudev, give me some dakshina, at least 5 rupees, and you will be, I will be the Gurudev of so many Shishya now. And this temptation, they make so many disciples, like the Babaji, giving Siddhadev, and go to hell with their disciples and Guru both. So we should try to know all the processes that Bhaktivinoda Thakur has told. There will be Shravana Dasha, Varana Dasha, there will be Smarana Dasha, Apana Dasha, Bhavapan Dasha, and then Sampatti Dasha. In Sampatti Dasha, this Siddhadev will come. First, Shravana Dasha. You will have to hear by any bona fide Guru, Srimad Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita, all the philosophy of Rupa Goswami, everything. And after Varana Dasha, in Shravana Dasha, so there are so many things, so many things. After that, it will come Bharat Dasha. We will have to practice. In Shaman Dasha, there are so many things. Who are you? What is your name? Of this, not this body, of that body, transcendental body. Guru knows. And if Guru not knows, and by Kalpana he tells that. Kalpana? Imagination. Then it is false. So Guru knows all these things. Who are you? What is your name? What is relation with Krishna? What is relation with Srimati Radhika and Gopis? Where you live? What is your name of father, mother? What is your service? How is your beautiful roop? Roop means form. And what is where you live? That is Radha Kunda, Javat, Nandagram, or Parshana, your daughter of Vishabhanu or anything. And after that, what is Agya? Agya means, what is the service of Radha and Krishna, conjugal? And Palyadasi Bhav, and so many things, 11. You will have to hear and then practice. So in Samandasai, from beginning of Jaiva Dharma and Srimad Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita, all the books of Rupa Goswami you will have to hear and to know all these things. Then it will be Samana Dasha. Not that you went to your Guru, the Gurudev told that I are very beautiful gopi and your name is Lalita. At once. And this is Siddha Pranay. We don't know who began this Siddha Pranay. At the time of Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, Vishwanath Thakur Babaji. Anyone can tell him Babaji? Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. So at that time there was no this process to give anyone to this bogus Gopi Bhav. Not that. We should come in real process. This was the main object of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Bhaktivinoda Thakur has two lines. His teachings are in only 2 lines. Jive Daya, Krishna Naam, Sarva Dharmasha. Jive Daya, Krishna Naam, Sarva Dharmasha. What is this? Essence of all the teachings of Ved, Vedanta, Upanishad, Bhagavad, Gita, Puran, Shruti, Smriti, Pancharatra, everything is essence, 2 things. Jive Daya, Krishna Naam. What is the meaning of Jive Daya? Jive Daya? Mercy to 2 conditions. What is that? Bhaktivinoda Thakur has told. What is Jive Daya? If you are successful in helping any conditioned soul to turn his mood, worldly moods, to turn towards Krishna service, this is best daya or mercy to any condition. It is more than lakhs and lakhs hospital doing, university doing, lakhs and lakhs dollars of charities. It is more a special thing. Only a realized soul can give this. So this is Jive Daya. How we can attain? Only by name. Hare Nam, Hare Nam, Hare Namaiva. Only Nam. Name is himself Krishna. But we can make it pure in the association of very bona fide Vaishnava, bona fide Guru. Otherwise, we cannot take pure name and pure Shuddha Bhakti. Shuddha Bhakti, what is Shuddha Bhakti? Raganuga Bhakti is Shuddha Bhakti. We think that this Vaidhi Bhakti is Shuddha Bhakti, not Shuddha Bhakti. Never. A spontaneous love to Krishna. This is Raganuga Bhakti. We are practicing this then. And when it will be practiced, then it is a ragatmik prem. When we have no ragatmik prem and we are cultivating by our whole senses for that bhakti, then it is raganuga. And when we accept the same thing which Rupa Goswami possesses in his, what is that? Palyadasi of Srimati Radhika. We conditioned soul have only right to go in this, not to being Lalita Vishakha. We cannot accept all these things. It is beyond the limit of conditioned soul. We can follow only Rupa Goswami and Ruparati, Lavang Manjari and all Manjaris. But Sahaji Baba, they told, oh, you are Lalita, I am Lalita. This is like a Mayavad, that is monism. Don't try to go. Don't try to go in this thing. Artificially. Don't do knuckle. Don't do imitation. Come in the process of Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur, and that process is elaborately told by Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Thakur. Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur foretold for that near future, in near future, so many hundred thousands of Western devotees are coming with Sikha and Tulsi Mala, and they will meet with Indian devotees and they will do Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Gaur Pranam. They will chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram. And then our whole world, it will spread this mission of, pure mission of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, started by Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur. So he is the root of all preaching, Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur. So we are indebted to Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur, really. Today is the auspicious day. There are so many things to be told. I may tell it briefly another day. But I think that what was useful for you, they have told everything about Bhakti Vinod Thakur. Also, today is the auspicious day for Srila Gadadhar Prabhu is himself not only associate of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he is herself a Srimati Radhika. Krishna take beauty, golden beauty, and mood of Srimati Radhika. And he came in a form of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Gaurchandra. Actually, he is Krishna. Only to satisfy his three modes, Aradhaya, Pranay, Mahima, Kiddush, and to sprinkle the mercy, to give that prem to all jivas here. Because he is so merciful and he is so Rashik. Rashik Shekhar Krishna, Parama Karun, Ek Dui Hetu, Lila. He was merciful, and that is why he is giving Krishna prem to jivas. But what kind of Krishna prem? Prem Shri, the beauty of bhakti. What is that beauty of Unnata Ujjvala Rasang Swabhakti? That is the mode of Goswami. Tambular Pranapada Mardan Payodana, like this, all these things is giving. We are only qualified to go in this, not Lalita, Vishakha, Chitra, Chandravali and all. We are not like that. So, if Krishna took the mood and beauty of Radhika, then Radhika was like zero? Was she? No. He was only practicing how Srimati Radhika was in meeting and in separation in both ways. How he was happy in serving Krishna, and how he was feeling so much separation mode when Krishna used to go to Mathura or Dwarka or in cow herding, or if Srimati Radhika has man. Sometimes Krishna used to have man also. So, here in this pastimes of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Gadadhar Prabhu was looking after always very carefully that Krishna is playing my role actually or not. Where is defect? So always looking after. And if there was any loophole, there was some loopholes sometimes in Krishna also. So he used to rebuke Krishna and to teach that this mood is mine. So when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came from Gaya, And now he was playing role, oh Krishna of everyone. This is the mood of Srimati Radhika. Ay deen dayadra, nath he, mathurana padavalokta se, hridayam tad alok kataram, like, also there is one slok which Madhavendra Puri used to recite. Hey Krishna, hey Chapala, hey Karunaika Sindhu. What is it? Hey Krishna, hey Chapala, hey Karunaika Sindhu. But what is the first line? Or in Srimad Bhagavatam, like, hey Nath, hey Raman, hey Prishta, Kwashi Kwashi Mahabhuya, Kripanaya Dashaste, Sakhe Dashaya, like this. So, Gadadhar Pandit was associate of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in boyhood. He used to play in the lanes of Navadvip with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu when they were naked. When they are reading in schools, Pathshala, he was also associate of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. When he came from Gaya, he was associate. When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took renounced order and gave up his worldly life, he was also associated with him. And he went to Jagannath Puri with him. And he promised that I will never give up this holy land of Jagannath Puri. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was going to Vrindavan. Now he was ready to give up this promise. Kshetra Sannyas. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, get him oath of his own head, don't go. You should be here. Because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wanted that I should go alone Vrindavan. Otherwise, if Gadadhar will go, then all will know that I am Krishna. So he was fearing so much. So anyhow he stopped Gadadhar Pandit. Gadadhar Pandit was coming with him up to any village of Odisha, and there was a very big river. Then Mahaprabhu told that you should come with me from here. You should stop you. I am giving you my oath of my head. Then he at once became faint, and Mahaprabhu at once, as a nishthur, cruel-hearted, he went alone with two Brahmins, unknown Brahmins, and he went to Vrindavan. When he came, he used to be with Gadadhar Pandit in Gopinath temple. Gopinath? Tota Gopinath. Once he was hearing Srimad Bhagavatam from Gadadhar Pandit. At once Chaitanya Mahaprabhu stood up and told Gadadhar, I want to give you a very near and dear thing to you. But I want to take. He told that take some sands from here, and a little sand was taken from there, and Gopinath, very beautiful deity, came from sand, and he gave it to. He told that this is my heart, and you should always worship this deity. He began to worship. Once Nityananda Prabhu came, having some cloths and beautiful rice and something else, and he gave to Gadadhar that you should make preparation of rice, shak and all other things. Gadadhar Pandit was so expert in cooking because she was Radhika, and everything cooked by her was like more than nectar. Very quickly he did the rice that Nityananda Prabhu, and he gave that vastra to cloth to Gopinath, and he took some tentul patta tamarind leaves and cooked a very good rasala from that. He took some forest shark, grillage, and made it so beautiful. And when he offered and Nityananda Prabhu was to take prasad, at once Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came and told, oh, you are cheating me? Why you not invited me? And you are going to take only alone Nityananda and Gadadhar both? I will also take Mahaprasad. Then he also sat there. And Nityananda Prabhu and Mahaprabhu took prasad. And they were very satisfied. After some time, one day, he was hearing Srimad Bhagavatam. But Krishna disappeared from Ras Leela. And they were singing and weeping with tears. Tava katamritam tapta jivanam kabirilitam kalmashapam savana mangalam srimadatam uvidrinanti te bhurida jana. Mahaprabhu began her heart was melted. Gadadhar Prabhu recited in such a separation mood that Mahaprabhu was melted. He began to weep. He runs at once towards the temple and went to Jagannath and mixed in Jagannath, Gopinath. Gadadhar Prabhu was waiting that when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu will return, but he never returned. And he began fainted and rolling down on the earth. Oh Mahaprabhu, where have you gone? Left us. In praying, in the matured stage of praying, a Mahabirahagni comes. Like Koti Pralayagni. Means what I told.
Separation, feeling.
In matured stage of praying, a Mahabirahagni, like more than Koti Pralayagni.
Heat.
At the time of
Destruction,
millions of times more than that.
whole world burning in that, coming from the third eyes of Shankar, all are burning. So lakhs and lakhs time more than that. Very painful. A stage comes. Gopi feel like this in the separation. 1 month separation and 1 moment separation. So painful for this. A arti comes. Arti means,
Pain for distress, agony.
oh Krishna, where you are? Where you are? Like this. This makes a very anarvachaniya sampatti. Anarvachaniya sampatti means
Indescribable wealth.
wealth. And in this stage, this wealth, what wealth? That I am telling. It dances over all kinds of happiness on the heads of all Ananda. And that is called Vipralambharas. Though it is seen very painful from outside, more than crores and crores heat of Pralayagni. Pralayagni means destruction fire. But yet, a anarvachani ananda comes. By seeing this, Krishna melts. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was melted with this Virahagni of Srila Gadadhar Pandit. We cannot define this when we will be in Braja And when we will feel separation, then we can know something. But we cannot describe to anyone. But it is the highest thing. And if there is nothing, then we cannot taste meeting of Krishna. So, Krishna is melted to see the devotee stage of separation mood. In our sadhana stage, we will have to feel some separation. If you are not feeling separation for Krishna, how we can do anything for Krishna? We cannot do any sadhana. But if feeling separation, that is something actually. And then more and more, and when we will come to mark bhava mood, bhava dasa, then this something abhas of that viragni will be manifest here, and then Siddhasari will come in this stage. So, the ordinary person, they cannot know what is that separation mood. Say they laugh sometimes. When Srivas Pandit was rolling down on the earth and weeping bitterly, hearing this sloka of Paraha Pidam Nataparvapyo, and all the Pandits of Navadip were laughing and joking, and they took his body and they throw him out of that school. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu became very serious. They don't know Bhagavat even. So they laugh and joke. So Srimad Bhagavat is telling, Mukti dadati na asma bhakti yogam. Mukti dadami karhi. Krishna gave liberation and can give liberation and all these things, worldly things he can give easily. Mukti also very easily. But these prem Krishna does not give to them. Why? Because they don't know, realize this separation mode. They laugh and joke to devotees. That is why they Krishna. He gets to rare only. Very rare. So Bhakti Vinod Thakur was one of them, and he was the incarnation or manifestation of Srila Gadadhar Pandit, Gaur Shakti, and Gaur Shakti is Gadadhar himself, he is Srimati Radhika himself. So if you will take shelter in the lotus feet of Gadadhar Pandit and to Srimati Bhakti Vinod Thakur, then we will come in process and very quickly they will enter in Bhakti, Shuddha Bhakti. Go Premanam Jasumati Nandana Brajavarana Agara. Jasumati Nandana. More loudly. Sita Radha Radha Madana Nama Jaya Radhe, Jaya Krishna. Are given to the devotees. Read their name and then they should stand up.
Okay, Silvana, you can stand up.
What? The creeper of Asha. Oh, that the Asha is like, I will be the Palyadashi or maid servant of Srimati Radhika. So, the Palyadashi or any Dashi of Radhika is Asalata Dashi, the name of any gopi.